not taken the coronavirus seriously. Things to do in quarantine, and we're going to be launching a global fitness challenge. The Toilet Paper Diaries are brought to you with Ernesto Verdugo and Dave Crane.
Here we are back live from Houston, Texas, and also there from Dubai. Dave Crane is there. So how are you, Dave?
I'm good. I tell you what, though, the challenge of being in quarantine, or being in self-quarantine at least, is everything gets intensified. You feel like you're actually involved in being in a reality TV show with only a couple of people starring in it, with no commercial breaks. And thank goodness there aren't cameras everywhere. Because, yeah, if you're not going out, you're not interacting with other people, it's kind of a bit of a challenge. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a very, it's hard reality to actually swallow. And right now, one of the things that I was thinking about, which I also feel very much wanting to share today, was the story of people which are not taking this seriously. I mean, we are taking it seriously. We are here. We're here helping other people. We're trying to make sure that everybody is fine. By the way, I mean, I was having a conversation with Dave a moment ago, and we were just saying, well, one of the things that we need to do is to let everybody know that we are there to support you. And having that said, I've been really shocked with some people posting in social media that they are not taking this seriously, that this is a hoax, that this is just a joke. And that is really, I do not even know what to think about that.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. We've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time. Whatever happens, happens.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. What is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing up. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion. I think it's doing way too much.
Doing us bad. We need a refund. This virus ain't that serious. It's serious. It's more serious things out there like hunger and poverty, and we need to address that.
Yeah, I mean, we planned this a long time ago, and it was kind of up in the air if we still go, but like, we're here. I just turned 21 this year, so I'm here to party, so it's kind of disappointing, but we're just making the most of it. We met these other people in our little Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
So what do you think of that craziness? I think it's just absolutely annoying.
Here's a challenge. If you are that age and you want to enjoy life, there's two things that occur to me. First of all, you don't think about that far ahead, because why should you? You've never experienced anything else. And also, they probably have really good immune systems, so they might well be able to get away with carrying the virus and dealing with it. I think that one of the challenges for many other countries that have suffered worse, and I don't mean to go at anybody who's suffering. I feel for you, and I really don't feel that people should take the blame for this. But I do feel authorities have often been in denial about it, and they saw the fact that there was some kind of virus or some kind of war that they had to impose on their people as a sign of weakness. Now, this has been a challenge in many countries. I won't point out the ones, but there's a lot of countries that are in denial, a lot of countries that aren't testing, and a lot of countries that are now picking up the pieces of lots of people in body bags and coffins because they left it even a week before they could have told people. And in a week, how many people do you normally contact, go into meetings with, hug, kiss, chat, sit over and have dinner with, or go past on a busy metro or public transport? The countries that have suffered worst are the ones where they hadn't taken it seriously. So, unfortunately, I mean, we're talking about the UK, maybe a 12-week lockdown. 12 weeks. That's incredible. So the government's on about rationing food and all the stuff that goes with it. There's a lot of challenges that are out there. And, of course, it doesn't help when people don't take it seriously. But I understand where they're coming from, but it's a huge no-no.
Today, I was looking at my Facebook line, and then I suddenly saw somebody, a friend of mine, that was actually saying, well, I'm just enjoying it here, and I'm going to restaurants, and I'm hugging people, and I'm shaking hands with people, and whatever. He's also young, he's strong. And what happens with this virus is that there's people that carry it, and people which you can carry it and give it away without really realizing. And I honestly think that this is something that we definitely have to take serious. Why? If we think about that story or that metaphor from the chessboard, that it's an ancient Indian story where they say, well, you have to put 1 grain of rice into the first square, and then the second square you put 2 grains of rice, and then the third square you put 4 grains of rice, and the next square 8 grains of rice. And by the time that you get to the 64th square, it's something like 13 trillion grains of rice or something crazy like that. And this is exactly the way exponentially that this pandemic can go. We think 1 or 2 people, and then we don't really do anything. So if you are a young person, if you're a Gen Z, if you're a younger guy and you're strong, it's not about you only. You have to think about everyone else. And right now, the best that we can do, it's not my priority, it's not my choice of actually being doing this. I would rather be doing something else. But I don't want to be either affected or be contagious. That's actually what I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, it comes to mind about because I know that Trump is talking about it being a war zone, and I think he's right. It is like a wartime, and I guess that even in Britain during the Second World War, when they had to have blackouts, and they had to have blackout curtains across everyone's living rooms, so any planes flying over top couldn't see lights coming through, because then they could aim with bombs at the lights. There would have been a number of skeptical people who said, you know what, I don't care, I'm fine, there's no planes coming, it's just a hoax, it's just made up. I don't think that you can do that in this day and age. I'm sure there are lots of things that are scary that are made up for lots of political reasons. This one isn't one of them. So yeah, ignore it at your own peril. So anyway, let's move on. Let's look at the other challenges that we have, which is if you're stuck inside and you agree that you have to be stuck inside, what can you do to keep yourself active and stopping your brain from going crazy?
I found this great video online, and I thought it was great to show it to you. It's this mother that thought, an obstacle course for his kid there in his house, and I thought it was really, really creative. So, I think one of the challenges that we're facing right now while being inside here is, first of all, dealing with the kids. See, for example, right now, one of the things that my son Vincent is doing, and he's really excited about, is having his home he loves his own little garden, and he's actually planting seeds of several things, and he's very happy because now he's getting already some leaves coming out of it, and he's very excited about those things. So those are, I think, the challenges that we are facing. But you have a number of different great examples to share, Dave.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'm watching this video, fascinated to see how good this kid is at running about. And can't take my eyes off it. It's brilliant. I don't know how long they'd last in our house without knocking into one of the dogs or something, but certainly it's interesting to watch. You can't hear a bit in the background. My 9-year-old daughter, Maya, has picked up the guitar. She's on YouTube looking at guitar for beginners, and she's strumming out some slightly painful, but at the moment it will be much better tunes as she's learning. There are a number of things that people can do, and we'll stay away from the business things. Let's just look at the pastime things, because what you've got effectively is a month of Sundays or Fridays, depending on which is your normal day off. And so there's a couple of things you might want to make notes of. First of all, meditation. If you can build them into a routine, this is when they work best. So yoga and meditation are very good. You can get access to lots of videos for free and lots of courses, or even connect with people who are coaches and get them to train you over the video streaming. And maybe if they do group sessions, you can take part in from your own bunker. Reading the books you've always wanted to read. There's a ton of podcasts out there which are brilliant. One of my favorites is Joe Rogan, but there's about 100,000 more that are more related to your own particular interests. Choosing to go and do games with your family, not just gaming online, but games with your family is always good as well. Taking virtual classes. There's a number of wonderful courses you can do. Some are qualified and some of them are just interesting. I was watching one today all about streaming, which took about 3 hours, but it was really fascinating for the technology for that. Create a craft project, knitting, painting. No, it sounds a bit dull in many cases, but you have the time. If you always wanted to do it and never got around to it, they're very therapeutic and they make you feel better. Baking, cooking, and as you mentioned, of course, with Vincent, creating an indoor garden. These are fascinating things that you can do, and every single day you get to see them grow, and you get better at it. We'll steer away from the business stuff, but there's a slight overlap when I look at stuff like creating your bucket list and your vision board. These are always essential things for any business, but they're also good for anybody to have. I think in the future episodes, we'll investigate further about a business bucket list or a business set of things you should be doing daily. But the more you can build them into your routine, the happier I think your day will be.
We are just right now living in a different environment. We want to show that we are there to support you, and we want you to be part of our community of entrepreneurs, of speakers, of experts. So please, if you are watching this right now, go to bit.ly/give-me-paper. And the reason why we say it's Give Me Paper is because of the name of the show, which is the Toilet Paper Diaries, which was basically thought on this specific situation where suddenly there was an outage of toilet paper. Now, talking about that, Dave, one of the things that we were commenting just before we went live, we started talking about those viral videos which are talking about the good things about the coronavirus, and we both of us have mixed feelings about them. So possibly you can share a little bit about them, and then let's show this video so that they can see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to talk about because I know that everyone has to find their own perspective and their own way of getting through, and there's no right or wrong one as long as you're not hurting other people. It's your own way, your own path. But I think that it's very important to be mindful that there are a lot of people suffering, a lot of people have been diagnosed, and it's not any fault of anybody. It's just a virus. And some people will die as a result of this. Some people have lost family members. So I'm very much in the camp that it's always good to find the silver lining with every cloud. But I think you've got to be mindful of the people that have been hurt or are suffering, and don't go out and say it's a good thing that we're all like this because a reset button is good because we're closer to family and blah, blah, blah. My thoughts are that you can do that, but you also have to have respect for those who are in quarantine, those whose businesses will not survive this, and for those who are actually diagnosed as positive.
Thank you for shaking us and showing us we are dependent on something much bigger than we think. Thank you for making us appreciate the luxury we lived in, abundance of products, freedom, health, and realizing we were taking it for granted. Thank you for stopping us to make us see how lost we were in the busyness, not having time for the most basic things. Thank you for allowing us to put aside all our problems we thought were so important and showing us what is actually important. Thank you for stopping the transport. The earth was begging us to look at the pollution for a very long time. We didn't listen. Thank you for all the fear. It has been a global disease for years, but not many of us wanted to face it. And now we have to face it and learn how to embrace it with love and with the support of our community. Thank you for this reevaluation of our lives. Thank you as we finally understand what it means that we are all connected. Thank you for the unity between all of us. We knew the world has to change. Thank you for helping us to undermine everything and giving us a chance to build the world from the very beginning.
This virus is part of us. It's between us, in us. It connected us all, either physically or energetically. Gratitude supports the immune system, but also lets us see things from many perspectives. And it's up to us which perspective we will choose, but best is to be aware of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, the video has gone viral. I got it sent to me on WhatsApp. It's a beautiful video, and then the lady comes through at the end and discusses how her take is on it. I think there's a lot of value in sharing those ideas, and people will feel better for seeing the positive spin on it. But I just still think you've got to be mindful of those who are having a hard time right now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just super important. I was just watching a couple of videos of some people that actually have the virus, and they are basically mentioning that it feels like having your lungs full of crystals. And I cannot even imagine that feeling. So yes, of course, it's great to remain positive, but we also have to be very empathic. We also have to be very supportive, and especially the old people. I think the old people are the ones which are the most at risk. And we need to be conscious about that. So, I mean, even if we have to really implement that social distance to them, I think it is a lot more valuable that we can see it in both ways. Sure, we have to remain positive. We have to continue with the quarantine. I know that as it says there in the video at the very end, life will never be the same again. I 100% believe that life will never be the same again. But we have to make sure that we see both sides, that we stay positive, but we also empathic for those of us which are suffering. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Italy, whether you're in China, whether you're in Korea, whether you're in any country, we have to be empathic.
One of the things that's come out of this, at least, is the connection, which I felt that over the last couple of years we've been losing connection as a global village. With this, it makes everyone realize it doesn't matter who you are, what your religious background is, your faith, your color, your ethnicity, your persuasions. You are as open to it as everybody else. And I've watched a number of videos where people are saying, don't worry, it's a virus that will attack other people. And it's like, no. And I don't think you should be telling people that. There's a lot that makes it a leveler. I hate to say it. Blood is red when it comes out from everybody. And it's one of those things that does wind me up, where people do politicize something like this. The only thing that matters is getting people out the other side in one piece.
No. I wanted just to, because right now that we actually went into this, I have another great video which I think it will fit perfectly here.
America is going through a kind of vision test, an exam on how we view one another. Do we see only ourselves, or do we get the bigger picture? Those Gen Z types partying on the beach could use some corrective lenses. And for the TP hoarders, you know who you are. Seriously? On the other hand, hip hip hooray for the folks in the grocery stores and pharmacies and the people who resupply them. And for those on the front lines, nurses, paramedics, PAs, and doctors, gratitude is not a good enough word to express our appreciation. And also thanks to their families, who know with every patient comes some risk. Finally, to the social distance superstars, who realize keeping your distance is the best way to slow the virus. Indeed, our best expression of loving your neighbor. Maybe we should call it 2020 Vision. Harry Smith, NBC News.
So I think this is really super powerful. Because it really shows the way that we should be feeling.
It does, and I think that the danger of it is that we are all aware, and we should all be aware that this is something as a community. It's how we help each other survive by not being selfish and not going out and hugging people because you haven't seen them for a while. Respect their space. Don't hug them because you want to hug them. If they don't want to do it, don't do it. I just hope that at the end of it, we don't have a knock-on effect of people not being close together and not bonding and not caring because they spent so long in quarantine. So I think it's very important to be able to talk about it, exercise it, but realize that even though the world is going to change as far as the way that we relate to each other and viruses, that's a given, it shouldn't stop us still caring about each other the way that we did before the virus came along. We've got a question that we always ask before we finish, if you don't mind me jumping in there, Ernesto. Yesterday, we're asking a question which was all about what should we keep after the virus is over? And we've kind of answered it by the fact that, looking at the environment, getting close to the family, respecting each other. These are the kind of answers we're getting from many people. And you can see with the live feed on Facebook exactly what the comments are we're getting from people too. A question that I wanted to throw out today before we end our broadcast is on a slightly different tack. It lightens the mood a little bit because we want to make sure that people feel better after watching, spending time with us, not go, I'm never talking to these guys ever again, they depress me. And it's a very simple question, which is, with all this extra time that you now have the ability to watch a TV box set of your favorite show, something that everyone's ever talked about. It could be Sopranos, it could be 24, it could be something that's new, like Grey's Anatomy has been around for ages, but there's about 8,000 seasons of that. What would you like to binge watch while you have this spare time? And you don't have to feel guilty. Out of all the time you got, you can spend one day watching episodes back to back at least. So what would it be that you wanted to watch that makes you feel better? Send us your details. You can do it within our group, which was bit.ly/givemepaper, which we've got on the screen there. And we'd love to have your feedback. And if you're really good suggestions, maybe I'll watch them as well. And so that's it for today's episode, Ernesto. It's been a pleasure spending quality time with you, all the way from Dubai to Houston.